Welcome. This is a brief summary of what happened on the Sun today on the 1st of February 2025. Overall, solar activity was average, particularly for this stage of the cycle. The sunspot number reached 147, which is about average recently. We had average flare activity, about 8 C flares, 1 M flare, and 7 coronal mass ejections. The solar wind speed was fairly high at about 600 to 700 kilometers per second, and there were no major geomagnetic storms. We have 7 sunspot regions. As I said, the sunspot number is 147, and the total area of the sunspots was 640 millionths of the surface area of the Sun, which is actually fairly low for recent numbers. We have a new region emerging, and it's likely to cause larger flares in the next few days. Note the growth in sunspot region 3191. As it becomes a major sunspot region, it will interact with the large sunspot regions to its northwest. This is a recipe for much bigger flares, M flares certainly, possibly an X flare or two. I'm going to show you a movie from the Solar Dynamics Observatory HMI instrument for the last 24 hours. I'll make it repeat twice so you get a chance to absorb what's going on. Note how the region in the southeast corner of this image starts to grow and spread. That's 3191. As it becomes a major region, it will start interacting with the large spots to its northwest, and that is going to likely cause some fairly major flares or disruptions in those regions. Solar wind from coronal holes is impacting the Earth. These are very large coronal holes, and they're in the western sector of the Sun, which means that they are directly connected to the Earth, so it's going to affect us. And as you can see, the KP index is elevated. It's around about 4. That's much higher than it's been recently, but it hasn't quite reached 5 yet, which is a storm level. The auroral arc is not very active at the moment. You can see the model of it here. It might get more active in the next day or two. Most of the flares are coming from the regions in the northeast part of the Sun. And we're going to show you an SDO movie at 94 angstroms, which is about 6 million degrees Kelvin. This is a 1 day long video, and it's for the 1st of February. Again, we'll do 2 repeats. Here you can see the region 3191 starting to grow, and as it does, it becomes more active. But also there are now beginning to be connections between it and the regions ahead of it. You can see loops looping from one to the other, and that's actually probably increasing the level of activity in those leading regions. There were no significant CMEs. There were 7 in all, but none of them were particularly large. The solar wind speed was very high. It's between 600 to 700 kilometers per second, which usually is a cause for a geomagnetic storm. But as the BZ component is not facing south, then there is no reconnection with the Earth's magnetosphere, and so we don't get a geomagnetic storm. The temperature of the solar wind is declining from coronal temperatures to more like photospheric temperatures. The forecast for the next few days, the sunspot number will likely to increase as that region develops. That will cause more and larger flares. CMEs will continue at an average level, and a weak geomagnetic storm is possible tomorrow. That's it for today. Thank you for listening. Stay safe until next time. Goodbye.